yellow brick buildings on the south bank used to be called London's larder. Most of the city's food was unloaded there from ships that sailed from every corner of the globe to the port of London. Just past Butler's Wharf, a narrow inlet marks the district known as Jacob's Island. In the 1800s, this was London's worst slum. Charles Dickens described Jacob's Island in his novel Oliver Twist.
Where the buildings are ragged and dirtiest, and the vessels of the river blackest, the dust of colliers, and the smoke of close-built, low-roofed houses. There exists the filthiest, the strangest, the most extraordinary of the many localities that are hidden in London.
Bill Sikes, the villain of Oliver Twist, meets his ghastly end on Jacob's Island. Today you can stroll the cobbled streets around Butler's Wharf and Jacob's Island, a district called Berkeley. The old warehouses are converted into luxury apartments, restaurants, art galleries and designer clothing shops.
Eastern London used to be the home of London's working class and seafaring men. Many of them worked on the docks in the old Port of London, also known as Docklands. Buildings on both sides of the Thames still display the names of the old walls, a reminder of the years when Docklands was the backbone of London's economy.
Vediamo il tempo, no? O riusciamo a fare un po' di spesa.
Se vuoi vai a grusze, ale dzisiaj konsensus.
No, nie trzeba gry.
No, to się pilnuj. On może taki coś zrobić i ci wypadnie, a 3000.
A member of Parliament once described the Thames as liquid history. It was here when London was born, and the river remembers everything, good and bad. Long before the Romans arrived, nature had already colonized the banks of the Thames. Birds and other animals flourished along the river. The waters teemed with salmon, flounder, sea trout and other fish. The air was always clean because rising tides carried fresh air in from the ocean, and ebb tides poured stale air out to the sea. Then came humankind, who saw the river as a resource that could never be exhausted. They drank from the Thames even as they used it as a dumping ground for refuse. By the 1600s, the water was no longer fit to drink. Londoners recognised the problem, but did nothing about it until 1858, the year of the Great Stink. A newspaper reported that the smell of the Thames even reached the Houses of Parliament.
Parliament was all but compelled to legislate upon the great London nuisance by the force of sheer stench. A few members, indeed, bent upon investigating the matter to its very depth, ventured into the library, but they were instantaneously driven to retreat, each man with a handkerchief to his nose.
London installed a sewer system and brought the Great Stink to an end. But the bombing of London in World War II damaged London's sewage system, which began flowing into the Thames again. By the 1950s, the river was biologically dead. Once more, the country was forced into action. The sewers were repaired, industry stopped dumping waste into the Thames, reed beds were encouraged to grow along the banks, creating new ecosystems. Today, the Thames is one of the cleanest rivers in the world. More than 100 species of fish live in these waters. Herons, cormorants and other waterfowl have returned. Dolphins and porpoises have been spotted at Tower Bridge, and seals visit Canary Wharf. The modern world poses new challenges every day, including climate change. We can never again take the health of this river for granted. For the sake of England and the world, may the liquid history of the Thames be a story for future generations to tell with pride.
Every morning in the skyscrapers at Canary Wharf, a parade of office workers arrives with briefcases and lunchboxes, mobile phones glued to their ears. You might think Canary Wharf is all business all the time, but you'd be wrong. Come the weekend, the executive who spends Monday to Friday buried in Stockholm is with her kids petting sheep at Mudshoot City Farm, a rural utopia in the middle of the Isle of Dogs. The loan officer sheds his suit for cycling gear or hikes to the Tower of London on the Thames Path National Trail.
You can see the same phenomenon all over London. Look past the palaces, monuments and souvenir stands and you'll glimpse the real London lifestyle. A jogger dodging tourists at Trafalgar Square, a kayaker riding the tide under Westminster Bridge, or a mum on the tube carrying fresh fruit home from the farmer's market.
Early risers get up at 4 a.m. to find the perfect bouquet at New Covent Garden Flower Market. Artists sketch the masterpieces at the National Portrait Gallery. Intellectuals go to talks at the Royal Institute of Philosophy. Swing dancers work up a sweat at Saturday Night Swing Club.
And fun lovers flock to any number of parades and public events. My favourite is the Parliamentary Pancake Race on Pancake Day, also known as Shrove Tuesday.